Let's start on a very simple note. If this is not Islamization of Nigeria, please tell me what exactly is Islamization of Nigeria. Last time I checked, Nigeria is not an Islamic country. Nigeria is a secular state. In fact, the statistics show that there's an almost 50-50 split between Islam and Christian in Nigeria. But explain to me how right now we have a president-elect that is Muslim, a vice president-elect that is Muslim, a Chief Justice of the Federation, Chief Justice of Nigeria that is Muslim, and now APC people are coming to say that Senate President should come from the Northwest, a Muslim, Speaker should come from the North Central, a Muslim. So President, Vice President, Senate President, Speaker of the House, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Muslim. Please, and if one talks now, people will start talking about it's not about religion, it's about competence. You want to tell me sincerely that only Muslims can fill the top 5 positions in Nigeria, in a country where you have an almost 50-50 split? Only Muslims can fill it, and that's what does not even end it. In all the financial services sector, the security services sector, dominated by Muslims. Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Muslims. Inspector General of Police, Muslim. Civil Defense, Muslim. Port Authority, Muslim. Nigeria Customs, Muslim. Immigrations, Muslim. Come on now. And the painful thing is that it is stupid and dumb Christians that are used to push these things. If this is not religious, well, tell me what is. Where is the religious tolerance in the spread and the distribution of positions in this country? It's not like even the Christian leaders that probably will get there are genuine Christian, in my opinion, but at least it helps to give a sense of togetherness, a sense of belonging for all Nigerians, a sense of unity. For there to be a distribution amongst the, at least Muslim and Christians. Why is it that you Muslims want to just take over everything? And Festus Keyamo, Femi Fani-Kayode will not see this aberration going. They won't speak to it. If this Islamization thing, this Muslim must take all thing that is going on now, that nobody's talking about, if it was that the Muslims are even leading the country well, I wouldn't mind. I have a Muslim chairman in my estate that is performing well. In fact, he has outperformed even my Christian chairman in the estate. So this is not a question of phobia for Muslims. No. I have Muslim friends all around me. When I see Muslims that perform, I am excited. I told my estate chairman, if he were to run for president, I will support him. But when it comes to the reality on the ground, there has to be balance. If the Muslims that are running the country now were running it to favor even only the Muslims, I wouldn't say. If the Muslims have turned Kano, turned Kaduna, turned Zamfara, turned everywhere in the north to Dubai, I wouldn't complain. Forget that, okay, fine. Some people may argue that they are doing it for themselves. They are not even doing it for themselves. For the past 8 years, we have had a Muslim leader, a Muslim president, Muslim Senate president, Muslim speaker, Muslim Chief Justice of Nigeria. And yet, the poorest part of Nigeria is the northern Muslims. Come on. What's going on? How can these people come out to still be talking about zoning the Senate presidency to the Northwest, zoning the speakership to the North Central, and they are talking about the likes of Wase, who is Muslim? So Muslim will just take over all the apparatus and we Christians will be looking like Mumu. Of course, I won't blame them. They have Mumu like Festus Keyamo, Mumu like Femi Fani-Kayode to use. Those ones who don't care about anything other than their stomach and their pockets. They're not looking at the balance. Forget even the balance now. They're not looking at the development of the country. It's a shame. And the next thing we hear is we have a doctored leaked audio that is trying to pin religious war on Peter Obi and on Peter Obi particularly. When the idea, the whole perception of religious war is coming from you. APC, Tinubu, DSS will not see this. No, this nonsense must stop. This nonsense must stop. The least APC can do right now is zone the Senate presidency and the Speaker of the House of Rep to Christians. That is what will create balance. And to do that, wherever they want to zone it to, I don't care. But the Senate president and the Speaker of the House of Representatives should be Christians so that they can be balanced. You can have a Muslim president, a Muslim vice president, Muslim Speaker, Muslim Senate president, and Muslim CJN. All the security agencies Muslim. And you expect us to keep quiet. No. It's not fair. Do the right thing so that people like us will not come out and be, because this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable that you can still have people come out to just jettison our religious unity for their own selfish gains. Imagine this one talking about it should be zoned to the northwest, and this other one talking about it should be zoned to the north central. I'm not making this up. Listen, watch the video yourself.
And we should be able to learn our lessons, you know, from history, our failures and our successes, and be able to correct them as we move forward. And these are one of the most reasons why I am pushing for the Northwest to take over the helm of the Senate presidency. It is high time for us to be rewarding performance, to be rewarding competency, and to pay attention to the zone of influence in all our appointments. The moment you keep consolidating or kind of distributing position to places where there is failure, you are like incentivizing failure. Why are you going to carry Senate presidency to the zone, for instance, let us say Southeast, that gave us 1.5% of the total vote that produced the presidency? Or maybe if you go back to the South-South, that gave us 8.7%. Meanwhile, the Northwest gave 30%. 30% of the total vote that produced the presidency is coming from the Northwest. So therefore, it is very, very important for us to ensure that we produce the Senate presidency from the zone where we get mass, so that we can keep appreciating more for giving us more as much as possible, so that the next time when we come to ask for them, they will give us more because we have appreciated their giving. But the situation whereby we carry it to dump in a place where we did not get the value that we are supposed to get.
So you're saying now it's about the party politics that superintends over the wish of Nigeria. And I ask you that, marry that with the fact that does religion not matter anymore? Because as it stands right now, the president-elect is a Muslim.
Yes.
The vice president-elect is a Muslim. And you're pushing for the Northwest. And of course, looking at all those who've indicated their interest, they're all Muslims as well. Yeah.
Northwest is a zone. And in National Assembly politics, we don't have anything called religion. Right? It is something that has to do with the zone of power, because most of those representatives come to represent zones in their state. So you need to look at it based on these zones, and you have to also appreciate the key performance indicators that give us the win. Because if we don't win election, we can't sit and be talking this way here. So as much as possible, we have to incentivize the area where we get our votes as much as possible, especially Kano. You know, Kano is the state where we always regularly record the highest amount of votes in this country. And now it was clear that we are likely, with the outcome of the last election, we've lost Kano. Even though we get about 513,000 votes, but we lost Kano. But then we have a senator from that same Kano who was able to defeat the Kwankwaso tsunami that swept Kano and come to the center. So that is the kind of person we need to empower, we need to incentivize, so that we can reclaim Kano in 2027.
Okay, now, yes, we need to be very clear about this. When it comes to zoning for fairness, equity, and justice, we need to be looking at the North Central, for real. If you look at a date back to, I think when they ever had the short, this particular position was during the Shagari administration for, I think, about 3 to 6 months. And ever since then, it's been the Northwest having a shot at this. We've had President serving governor of Katsina State. was a speaker from the Northwest. President serving governor of Sokoto State equally was a speaker at Northwest. You had Salisu, the first speaker in 1999, all that. So you have about 4 of them. So for fairness, going to, I mean, I heard people talk about having had a numbers of votes during elections coming from the Northwest. Crystal clear. You don't win elections with just the numerical numbers that come in. That's where you have the 2/3 of it. If you have the numbers and don't have the 2/3 of the states, you can't win elections. So for the North Central, they had 4 out of 6 states. For the Northwest, they had only 2 out of 7 states. For fairness, for crying out loud, if you really want a country that we all believe in and want to grow in, it's just clear that the party should be looking clearly at the North Central. And this is what I think the party for now would do. When you talk about competence, I really want to go into that, for real. From everybody contesting these elections, we can see from the antecedents who has the competence to run this house. Don't forget, as we speak, today, the elected president of this country was a former lawmaker, a senator, and 2-time governor of Lagos State. The vice president of this country elect to a president-serving senator and a former governor, 2-time governor of Borno State. So they're going to hit the ground running. The only person who has that teaming experience from the National Assembly in the House of Representatives is Honorable Wase, without a shadow of doubt. Clearly, we're looking at a system and a government that would help the executive as we go by to put best policies in ground for Nigerians.